Hi chums, me again, obviously. When I did the little video yesterday, I mentioned that yew was very expensive here, and I was asked by J&J Acres, that's the channel with a homestead. I checked it out this morning and subscribed to it. It looks really good. But they asked why was yew so expensive, so I'll try and explain that now. So why I've got a hat on? It's 4 degrees today, but with wind chill it's -2. So it's very cold outside. So we're going to go out here, and in my slick video editing, ooh, the sun. See, it is sunshine, but it's not good. Now here we are. There's what yew looks like, okay? Now, you can see here, these are all little branches here, branchlets, and they will become branches. But as you can see, there's loads and loads of them all over that, and that's only a thin one. Now, this is that piece there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 stems coming out of it, but it also has lots of these little ones as well that will grow. So it grows as a very spindly, bushy plant with a few major limbs going up through the centre if they get a chance to develop. Now, to give you some sense of perspective of why this is so expensive and why I'm so excited to get it, that piece there is about 18 inches in diameter, okay? They reckon that a piece of a yew 4,000 years old reaches about 4 feet in diameter. So I'm not saying this is like 1,000 years old, but it came out of a really, really old graveyard in Belfast, the oldest graveyard in Belfast City Cemetery. And these are growing out of a lot of the graves. Now, there's 2 reasons why they're there. There was a tradition in medieval times that people went to burial sites with a piece of yew branch, which is this stuff here, and put it into a grave. It was to do with beliefs about the afterworld, and they used special association with life, humanity and nature. And it was a very special tree because it was so slow growing. But also, in medieval times, it was used to make longbows. So it's a very valuable tree because it's very, very strong. If you can get a piece of structure, if that piece there is structurally sound, it'd be perfect for a bow. But it's getting a piece of structurally sound is so hard because of the way it grows. So that piece there is very old. There was also a tradition that Masons, or the Masonic order, when people belonging to that order died, a sprig of yew was thrown into the grave. Now, on the graves where we got this stuff in Belfast, every one of them had the Masonic symbol on the headstone. So it looks like when the people were buried, they threw the sprig in, and the little sprigs rooted, and these are growing all over the place in the city cemetery. And then they cull them every so often because they just get completely out of hand. What happens is you get this crack here going on where you get ivy growing through the tree. You can see it over here as well, and it starts to choke the tree out. Now, that's the outside of the tree, and this here is a very valuable piece here. This is the sort of stuff that I said before, people like me don't get because it is so hard to get a piece that size. And as you can see, let's move this back home. I've got a few. There's a good example of how it grows there. You see, a very convoluted growth pattern. There's 2 thick branches there, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, 8 small branches just coming out of the one stump. So it makes it very convoluted. The grain grows every road and direction. You wouldn't know where it's going to end up. So that's the outside of it, and that's an explanation of why it's so expensive. Now, come in here and look. The beauty of yew is what happens when you get inside it. Now, this is a little toothpick dispenser, and that's yew there. Yew has some of the most beautiful colours inside it, depending on the ground it was grown in and what it maybe leached from the ground. Now, what you'll find in graveyards is that the tree will grow through a metal grave surround. The metal inside the tree will then turn the tree purple. If you drive a nail into a tree at your home and come back in a few years, you'll find that the inside is starting to turn purple. But it happens really spectacularly with yew, and you get that effect. But that's pretty sort of bland in U terms, you know. This is a prototype. That's a little prototype. It's not the finished article. Well, it is a finished article, but it's a prototype. There's better ones coming. But the reason I've covered these up is because this is what really happens about you. You get this sort of stuff here. You can see what's going on now. All the different colours. Isn't that beautiful? And we like making mushrooms out of it because it displays the grain so well. And it's lovely now. I made those and they split. But somebody will say, give me that, because they like the natural splits. And this is what it is. If that was cherry, it would be split right down there and down there evenly. Sorry, right down there and straight through there where the pith is. But look at that, the split there and there as well. Probably somewhere else, because the grain goes all over the place. Here's another one. See, there's split there and split there and split down. No, it's not split down. That's a lie. It's starting to split there, but you can see there the colours. The colours are just beautiful in this here, you know. Now there's a wee thing there for you. You've got three words. You've got hectare, tractor, and rector. How do you make all those things work together in a poem? So you can think about that for a minute. It was World Poetry Day last week, and that poem came on the radio. And of all the poems I heard that day, it was the one that tickled me the most. But there you are. That's why you is expensive, because that's the sort of stuff you find inside it. Now, I'm not one of these turners that listens to the wood and does what the wood tells them to do. I'm just happy enough I've got a shape at the end of it all, you know. So this is a case of you cut in and this is what you get. But you know what the problem with it is? You get greedy and you think, if I go in a bit further, will it be nicer? And you cut all that away and it's not as nice. So it's like a sort of a damage limitation all the time when you're using this stuff, because you want to get the best you can, but you don't want to lose it either. I suppose it's the same with every wood, but this is particularly so because you've got that little of it. So that there, in terms of diameter, that's about 3 inches in diameter. That's quite a big piece of yew. So there you go, folks. That's our J&J Acres in particular. That's why yew is expensive, because it grows very, very slowly. About 4.5 foot. I'm sorry, 4 feet in 2,000 years. But they said that in that 2,000-year-old tree, no, it's not. It's 4 feet in 4,000, I think it was. And in that tree, there'll be hardly any of the original tree still there. It'll all have grown past itself and rooted along the ground a bit and put up more water shoots and stuff. And the original tree will be dead and gone, but it's still growing in terms of putting out branches that will root themselves, you know. So they've found trees that they reckon are between 5,000 and 9,000 years old, and they aren't much wider than 4 feet in diameter. They got one in Scotland that was nearly 9,000 years old, they reckon, but it hasn't been carbon dated, but the closest they can get. See, it's very hard to count the rings. You can cut that there, it's not bad, you can see rings in that, but most of the rings are all over the place. So there you go. That's why yew is expensive, because it's beautiful, it's very slow growing, and it's very hard to get. So hectare, tractor, and rector. But you do this with a Ballymena accent, boy, right? So there was a young man called Hector who had a Matthew Ferguson tractor. He drove into the yard a bit too hard and skidded and shit and wrecked her. There you are, folks. That's your poetry lesson for today. So that's it. And then there I'm starting again today, and I've got my wax is starting. I took it off the heat there because I didn't want it to boil over. Very dangerous melting wax. You have to keep a real close eye on it. So that's where we are. We've got my fire going and all my other woods. Yes, this morning when I came in here this morning, I started dating all the wood. As you can see, I've got a whole lot down below the bench there. But this bench here was up to where my finger is, and down to there, just in solid yew. And it took 6 wheelbarrow fulls to get it down to the shed down below. I was so tired. I went in and slept for 2 hours at dinner time there. Right, so there we are, folks. The reason yew is so dear, and a poetry lesson. Okay, all the best now. Bye bye.